So the emotions or the
Louder,
love,
louder.
the love that we want, the emotions that we want to feel are indications.
The love that we want to feel. So, are what?
Indications of what we want.
They're indications of being in alignment with what we want. When you feel love, you are in harmony with your desires. When you feel hate, you are in discord. You're distracted from what you want. And the law of attraction is responding to whatever's active in your vibration. And everyone has a sort of mixed bag. In other words, we're not asking you, you will never purify it in such a way that at all moments for the rest of your life you'll be in perfect concert with your inner being. But you sure can get to the place where you move on the emotional scale from satisfaction up to love in that range of rather than dipping down into the ones that don't feel so good.
What is the best thing to do when that happens, when you're in alignment with someone that feels really good and then they do something that doesn't feel good?
To own up to what just happened. My signal was sloppy, and so I got bleed over from other stations. Because the tendency is to want to blame them. Their behavior caused my response to their behavior. And we say, your practiced vibration caused your response to their behavior. Because if they were 2 years old, you'd have a different response. It would be more unconditional love. Are these too big of steps to take? We're breaking it down to the simplest of ways to understand it. We are appreciating your questions. We're not making fun of them. We are appreciating them.
So can there be steps to, in that moment when we were first feeling the love, something happens, we don't feel the love?
Well, here's the thing.
Are there steps to come back to that?
There are, and we've offered so many of them in processes over time. The Ask and It Is Given book has 22 processes in it. In fact, it says, each process says, this process works best if you're at this emotion, and this process works best if you're at this emotion, and so forth. But today we'd like to say something to you more refined and ultimately more applicable to your life experience. So you get it that law of attraction is always on, and that it's always responding to what you've got going on, and that what you've got going on in your belief system, what's active in your thought belief system, is what the law of attraction is responding to. So you have these attitudes about money, these attitudes about women, these attitudes about men, these attitudes about just about everything, because you've been living life and you've been observing and you've been talking to others and you've got opinions and attitudes, beliefs, vibrational patterns. And they just are whatever they are. Let's not evaluate them, let's not judge them, let's not even compare them to anybody else. Let's just accept them as what they are. And what they are just keeps bringing you more evidence of those. So as the evidence comes and you like it, keep it up. If the evidence comes and you don't like it, then cut it out. Distract yourself with something that feels better and better and better and better. So our answer to you is, there's not a whole lot you can do in any red hot minute, because it's already underway and you're already getting the manifestation. It's sort of like the analogy that we first gave. We haven't offered this in a long time, but it really applies here. So you're at the top of a hill in San Francisco, and you're looking down this roadway that goes all the way into the bay. And you decide, just for fun, that you're going to disengage your brake and disengage your gear. Now your car is free-flowing, and you're just going to nudge it a little bit from behind and see what happens. And it's sort of hard to get going at first, but you push on it and it gets going, and then it starts to roll, and now you're you can feel that it's getting away from you. And you know what's going to happen next. You know that it's going to gather momentum and it's going to knock anything in its path out of the way and it's going to end up in the water. But because you know that and you don't want that to happen, it's a rental. You get out in front of it and you let it bump up against you and it stops. You stop it before it got started. But if you wait until it's already underway, nobody's going to stop that. And so it's sort of like that. The key to really deliberate living is to be sensitive to the emotions when they first feel uncomfortable, and then the distraction from the discomfort while the attention to the comfort brings you back into alignment. Because if you wait until the manifestation is underway, you don't have much influence over it. It's gone too far. So we call that pre-paving or getting out ahead of it. Segment intending is really the thing that we're really wanting to encourage. And so before you get, let's say that you're going to get with somebody and you know how it usually goes. And it usually doesn't go as good as you want it to. And so you think, well, I could not go altogether. Or you think, I could go and attract differently because I understand how this works. And so you deliberately reach for easy matches with this situation, with this individual or this circumstance. You reach for easy matches and you feel the comfort, the clicking into place of those thoughts that feel better. And then you go have the meeting, and it goes differently than it usually goes because you're different than you usually are when you go. You have a different point of attraction and you've shown yourself. Now, we're not saying that you can change every person, that you can turn somebody from one personality trait to another, that you can make somebody who's argumentative not argumentative. That isn't our point. We're saying that your response to who they are will be different because you've got your shock absorbers on. You've got your sea legs on. You're in a place of different attraction, even in the mix of it all, you see. You know, people that freak out over the slightest things and people that seem like they're all right even when there's a lot of chaos going on. And sometimes it's because they have just practiced not freaking out. And that's not what we're teaching here. We're not practicing holding your freak out inside so no one sees it. We're asking you to practice not freaking out. We're asking you to practice strategizing, focusing, calibrating yourself to the best things in your world, the best things in that person and the best things about that idea, the best feeling things about this and that and this and that and this and that, until you're tuned so deliberately that the law of attraction must respond to your deliberateness rather than to your sloppiness or to your default. It's so fun to get hold of this. You're already noticing some of it, aren't you? It's been hot. Have you noticed? It's been very hot. And just taking your temperature here. And so it's too late. You're on a cruise in July in Greece. What were you thinking? What was Esther thinking? Ron, what were you thinking? That's Esther, that's not Abraham. That hurts her back. So it's too late. It's hot. It's hot. It's hot. Hotter than hell. There is no hell, so that doesn't apply. It's hot. It's hot. So what are you going to do about it? Are you going to be hot and ornery? Hot and angry? Hot and discordant? Are you going to be hot and amazed at that? Look at that. Hot and appreciative of that. Look at that. In other words, you have choices in every situation of how you feel, much more than you give yourselves credit for. So we're teaching two things to you, and you're asking more of one, and we're really teaching more of the other. The other that we're teaching is pre-paving. Esther will never, ever, ever, ever go to Greece in July again. Ever. But she's glad you saw Greece. And so that's learning as you go. That's I know what I don't want. I knew what I do want. I know what I don't want. I know what I do want. But what we're teaching is making the best feeling choices you can right where you stand, while at the same time deliberately putting into your bag of marbles what you want, so that you're in alignment under all conditions. And being in alignment under all conditions is different than coping. It's not like tolerating or coping. It's like being so in alignment with who I am that under any and all conditions, the larger part of me is what's dominant in this situation. Esther twisted in the night some weird way in her bed and was really hurting this morning. And she's not hurting right now. Same body, same physical apparatus, just a different consciousness dominant in her body right now. Can you hear what we're getting at? It can be hot and you can be blissful. And you could have cracked ribs and be standing on a stage and feeling pretty darn good. In other words, so there's this mix of stuff that's going on all the time within you. And if you understand that what deliberate creation is twofold. It's getting out ahead of it, and it's doing the best I can in the moment. And it's getting out ahead of it, and it's doing the best I can in the moment. And it's taking 100% responsibility for whatever's happening and giving no responsibility to anyone else. Not asking anyone to adjust themselves in any way so that I can feel better. Accepting that once and for all, it is my job. My bag of marbles is my bag of marbles, and your bag of marbles is your bag of marbles. And how we mix together is about how we mix together. But I've got so much control over how I feel when I come together with your bag and your bag and your bag and your bag and your bag. And before you know it, you find yourself predominantly surrounded by bags of marbles that match your bags of marbles. And life is really good under those conditions, you see. Yeah.